What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video, we finally got one. 2021 Yamaha R1. It has finally arrived. We finally got the ECU Flashed. We've been waiting on this for so long, and it is finally here. We've got a completely bone stock bike here. We just did the baseline dyno pulls. We ended up with 164 horsepower, bone stock, 73 foot-pounds of torque, and you can see at 11,900 RPMs, the bike pretty much shuts down completely. At 14,000 RPMs, this thing is only making 153 horsepower. Super low because it's super restricted. We pretty much already knew that. Check out the exhaust system he got on there now. Brock's Performance exhaust. Just kidding. The bike got a little scratch on the exhaust, so he put the Brock's Performance sticker on there to cover up his scratch. I know. I can see you typing away about the sticker. Hey, it looks better than a scratch. I will give him that. So anyways, we are going to be putting a Yoshimura 3/4 exhaust system on this thing. So basically that's just a slip-on. It's going to remove this big giant catalytic converter on the bottom. We're going to save a good bit of weight. We're going to get rid of all this exhaust servo stuff going on here. And we're going to make some noise out of this thing. We got the baseline pull coming up. Go ahead. Wait a minute. Hi, you caught me. I showed you the baseline numbers before I showed you the run. I'm going to show you the baseline run and show you what the thing sounds like. We actually videoed, Magic Mike was dynoing the baseline pull before I could get out here to video. So I caught the tail end of that video, or tail end of that run. That's the numbers we ended up with. You're about to hear the run, hear the bike, see the run, all that good stuff, and then we're tearing this thing apart. Let me know in the comments, what do you think this thing is going to end up with? It is a good looking bike though. Man, I really like the front end on this thing. Looks super good. Yamaha did a good job designing the looks of it. Let's see how good they did designing the performance part. Just like that, the exhaust system is off. You can see got pretty good size headers, and the good thing about this bike is the catalytic converter is in the factory, I guess you say, muffler slash mid pipe. So really a 3/4 exhaust system. I'm not going to tell you that's all you need, but that's about all you need. This system like this style is going to gain really good horsepower by just doing this slip-on exhaust. You see, it is good size, not really restricted looking, and it's going to be a really nice looking exhaust. We'll have this thing fired up in a minute. I think it's going to be a completely different machine now that we got the exhaust on. off the bat, we gained 20 horsepower in the top end, flashing the ECU on this thing. You can see Mike is making changes on the screen now, and we are gonna have this thing all dialed in here soon. We're trying different things with this thing to see about getting more power out of it. This is supposedly a new platform. The engine seems to be relatively the same as a 17 through 19. The 2021 just has all the new electronics, all the new good stuff. But the engine, I can't see a whole ton of difference. The actual fuel tune from the other bikes actually look pretty similar to the fuel tune in this one from what it's working out to be. So overall, pretty impressed. I think we're gonna end up in the low to mid 180s. For a slip-on, that's pretty stout, especially with the torque this thing makes. What kind of torque did it have? We'll see what the torque was for this thing, but it sounds like it comes on extremely hard. 77 foot-pounds of torque. So overall, pretty stout for just a bolt-on bike with a slip-on. Let's keep tuning this thing and see what we can get out of it. All right, guys, we just finished up with a dyno tune on this 2021 R1. The gains were big. It's been a long wait to get this thing done. The ECU flashing equipment has not been available for this bike. For those of you who own this bike, you already know you've been emailing me every single week asking where it was at. Before I get into showing you the final numbers, I want to show you some things going on in the ECU, why this bike is so heavily restricted. So you can see here we've got ETV, that stands for electronic throttle valve, okay? When we go to first gear on electronic throttle valve, we go over here to the 100% column, and then this is your RPMs. Over here on this side, we'll scroll down a little bit. You can see that the bike doesn't go 100% throttle until it actually is kind of wacky. It goes 90, 84, 100, 88, 94, and 100. Why Yamaha does that, I have no idea. Anyways, I would say just to keep the power delivery smoother and to hold the bike back from wheeling in first gear. But anyways, long story short, we get locked in at 100% throttle, 10,000 RPMs, but it only lasts 11,500 RPMs. So you only get wide open for 1,500 RPMs in first gear. Then you're restricted back to 73% throttle. 73%, that's a huge deal. So now let's roll over to second gear. Stays pretty much the same. Third gear stays pretty much the same. And then we'll scroll on down into sixth, and you can see it's pretty much the same. Every single gear restricted to 11,500 RPMs. You are not getting the full horsepower. Other things we can do in the ECU, disable top speed limiter. Of course, this thing has a mile per hour cutoff. 186 miles per hour is all it'll let you go. Now the gauges will still only go to 186, but the bike will continue to pull beyond that once we flash the ECU. We can disable the exhaust valve, no servo buddy needed. Take the O2 sensors out, throw them in the trash. We don't need it no more. We can also disable the fuel cut to keep the on-off throttle transition much smoother. And then if you get pair valve block off plates or delete the evap, we can also delete those codes as well. Another thing we do on pretty much all of them is reduce the fan temps, make that come on at 195 Fahrenheit or 90 degrees Celsius. But some other things that we can get into here, and I'm not gonna discuss the final numbers, but you can see here on your ignition timing, it's all the way as high as 40 degrees. It goes all the way down to as low as 31 degrees, 32 degrees, and so on. The bike is holding back ignition timing, holding back horsepower, guys. So there's lots we can be done in that. With all that being said, let's pull up our dyno graph numbers. Boom, 180 horsepower, 0.94, basically 181. The bike still has a stock air filter, still on regular pump gas. If you were to put a Sprint air filter or something in this bike, open it up, let it breathe a little bit more. I'm saying 184, 185, no problem on pump gas. That's with this Yoshimura slip-on. If you put a full exhaust, I can only imagine what the other gains would be, but at 13,600 RPMs, we went from 157 horsepower to 181 horsepower. Huge, huge gains. Look in the mid-range. 7,000 RPMs, we went from 75 to 90 horsepower, basically. Huge, huge gains. You're gonna feel that everywhere too, guys. That same 7,000 RPMs went from 57 foot-pounds of torque to 67. This bike is gonna be night and day difference. Check us out, moremafia.com. You can find more details on there. If you wanna get your bike dyno tuned by that man right there, Magic Mike, hit us up, same spot, same time, same channel. We'll book you in an appointment. We'll do it while you wait. Takes about 2.5 hours, or you can simply just mail your ECU in to have it flash. All of our ECU flashes are based off of dyno tunes. So if you buy a 2021 R1, you buy a Yoshimura slip-on, and you send your ECU in to get flashed, boom, that's what you get. That exact tune right there, what we upload into your ECU, is it gonna be absolutely perfect in your area? Pretty close. Every bike is gonna be a little different, but for the most part, for 200 bucks for the average guy, you cannot beat it. Check us out, moremafia.com for more details. There's an ECU flashing page. There's a video that explains all the details and how long it takes to get it done and whatnot. We send the ECUs back out the same day that we receive them. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, click the bell for notifications. We'll see you next time.